Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. Please hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to be reminded of my next video. If my content resonates with you, feel free to share and leave a comment to help get these messages out to the world more. I don't make any money producing these videos, so if you'd like to support my work, you can purchase something from my online store, download our music, or leave a donation through my website, or book a session with me. I will leave the links below. The experience I'm about to share seems to be a continuation of my video entitled Taking Back Our Divine Magic, so feel free to go back and watch that one as today's episode is related. So earlier in the week, I decided to drive to one of my happy places, which is a hot springs just north of me. Before I went, I set the intention for communication through nature, including the clouds, animals, and whatever else wanted to come forward. I just told the universe that my heart would be open to receiving messages that day. I relaxed in the pools for a while, and towards the end of my stay, I looked up to the sky, and lo and behold, there was a perfect shape of a witchy-style shoe. Then out of the top of the shoe came a flying monkey with his tongue out. Then I heard the song in my mind, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. It played off and on in my mind the rest of the day. After this strange cloud dissipated, 4 deer bounced across in a nearby field. I have been seeing repeating 4s all week long. 4 can represent being in constant communication with the divine realm, or being selected to fulfill a divine spiritual mission on earth, preparation for big changes, and embracing intuition. Biblical meaning can point towards balance, order, justice, and creation. After the 4 deer disappeared, one of the people there had a radio next to him by the pool, and the song by Simon and Garfunkel came on, called The Sound of Silence. I just laid back my head on the edge of the pool and listened to the profound lyrics. As I drove home, a bald eagle flew right over me, and we don't see these very often in my area, especially this time of year. The eagle is always a symbol of freedom for me. When I got home, I felt prompted to watch the original movie, The Wizard of Oz. There was a few interesting metaphors I picked up on. I had watched Shunya Murti's interpretation of this movie a while back, and what he picked up on was totally different than what I picked up on, so this movie has many layers of meaning. I'll put a link to his video in the comments because he's one of my favorite spiritual teachers. There is also an interesting comparison to the banking cartel, and I'll post that video as well in the comments. So the first thing I noticed was the song Dorothy sings called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It made me think of my last video in which I explained how I saw a rainbow bridge in a vision and how it led to a city of light or a new reality. Go revisit the lyrics and you'll see how profound this song is. I believe it also has to do with the rainbow being a bridge to New Earth, and the rainbow warriors being the volunteers who came from the stars to assist with this shift into a new reality. Shunya Murti says something very similar about the rainbow in his video also. The next thing I noticed was the fortune teller. He had to look at one of Dorothy's photos to give a reading to her rather than being truly connected to spirit. I also noticed that on his wagon it said, acclaimed by the crowned heads of Europe. So perhaps he's a bit of a puppet to the false royalty that rule this realm and was peddling deceit and reliance on false authority in general. In fact, the entire film is based on Dorothy and her new friend's epic journey to reach this deceitful and false wizard in order to get the answers and gifts they are seeking, rather than looking within. Another thing that stood out was when Dorothy crosses over into another Technicolor realm. She is asked by Glenda if she is a good witch or a bad witch. She answers by explaining all witches are mean and ugly, thus showing her innocence and pre-awakened indoctrination about magic. She still thinks that all magic is bad. She is then given the magic shoes of the bad witch that she killed by accident. But when the shoes are worn by her, they take on a new sparkle and protection. They seem to be a metaphor for the fact that good or bad magic depends on the person who wields it, and their purity of heart and their intentions, thus making a clear distinction between light and dark magic. Glenda, who has descended from the higher realms in the form of an orb, is obviously an adept in her magic, and shows Dorothy there is nothing to fear, as the bad witch has no power in her presence. Glenda is full of light and standing in her divine power, so the wicked witch is forced to retreat. Dorothy is guided down a yellow brick road towards the golden age of enlightenment. As Dorothy continues on her journey as more of an initiate than an adept, the wicked witch continues with her shenanigans, trying to thwart her at every turn, with evil trees that throw apples at her and the scarecrow. Notice she's missing her magic shoes in this scene for a moment, and the scarecrow is taken down. It's as if the moment we forget to stand in our divine light and magic is the moment when we are most vulnerable to the dark magic. The witch's minions are always doing her dirty work and are represented by the flying monkeys. The wicked witch also tries to put Dorothy back to sleep with the poison poppies, which in my opinion is an effort to once again keep Dorothy from awakening to her own power and magic. Glenda had mentioned earlier in the film that Dorothy fell from the stars in the song that she sings. Perhaps this is just a way of saying that Dorothy is a starseed and came from higher realms as well. She finally defeats the witch by just being her true self in the act of being in service to another. In trying to save the scarecrow friend by dousing him with a bucket of water, it accidentally hits the wicked witch and she melts in the face of this service to others action. The water may also represent the coming of the Aquarian age that helps defeat dark forces. As my guides have said in many transmissions, nothing can stop the light. As the friends reach the wizard, Toto, who I think may be symbolic of the higher self, and is always wanting to show us the way with higher truth, pulls back the curtain of deceit, and there is the wizard working his fake magic as a mere man. He then gives them all worldly gifts that still have nothing to do with their true divine magic. When Dorothy and company return to the land of the Munchkins, there is a great celebration for the evil that has been defeated. I feel like this celebration is on the horizon for we the people who are willing to step into our divine magic and sovereignty. The evil we see in the world that seems to be escalating as we speak has no power over us. Glenda says their magic must be very powerful or they wouldn't want the magic shoes so badly. I see the ruby slippers as our divine magic within, and a sort of armor against dark magic. Glenda says, "You have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops a house on you." When Dorothy returns to the Earth realm, or back to her human incarnation, she says that she is never going to leave home again. I think that through her journeys, she has finally raised her consciousness and realized that home is within her, no matter where she is. The temple is within. The answers are within. We are the home. So I recommend going back and watching this film with new eyes. Listen to the words of Ding Dong the Witch is Dead. Have hope. The light is strong. The light will win. We will be celebrating when we realize our own divine magic and power. This is what will defeat the darkness. Listen to the song, The Sound of Silence. And then go within to meditate in your own silence. Ask questions. Ask for guidance. Ask to connect to your own higher self and the Great Spirit. rather than the propaganda of the puppets of the crown or the false wizards of the world. Rather than seeking accolades of the world, seek your own divine wisdom. Your own heart knows the way. Your own magic knows the way. To end, I'm just going to read the lyrics to The Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision, softly creeping, left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains with the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone. 'Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched with the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never shared. No one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to a neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said, the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls, in tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence. Have a good week, and I'll make a new video for you guys next Sunday. Take care.